Hi, this is Dawn Haight, and today I'm going to show you how to make paper pine cones. And here are a couple of examples made with retired Close to My Heart papers. And the papers that I'm using today are also retired. They're from a collection called Jackson, I believe. What you'll need is a styrofoam egg, and this one is just shy of 3 inches. And you'll need some straight pins, and these are just over an inch, I think an inch and a 1/16, and they need a tiny pinhead on them. And a length of grosgrain ribbon to make a bow at the top, and about 1 1/4 sheets of paper. And you want to cut those into 1 by 1 squares. It's 1 inch by 1 inch. So I've got a pile started, and all you do is you take the top left corner and the top right corner and fold them into each other to make a peak. And I call them little houses. They look like houses kind of after you're done folding them. So you just fold all of your little 1 by 1 squares until they have peaks at the top. And when you're finished doing that, when you have a big pile of little houses, you're ready to get started. So you start with the narrow end of your egg, and you take a square and you take the peak and put it towards the middle, and you start with a pin at that point, and then you put pins at the base on the left and right side. And your next square that you're going to put in, you're going to go opposite, and you kind of overlap it just a little bit, and you put another pin at the peak, and then a pin at the base on the left side, and another one on the right side. And then you take another one and you put it in between and kind of overlap so that you don't see any of the styrofoam in between. And put a pin at the peak and then a pin at the base on the left and the right side. It's a little tricky when you're going through several layers of paper at this point, but you just work with it and it'll finally go in. And you take your fourth piece and place it in that opening. So you will see a couple of pins at the very tip of your pine cone. That should be about the only place. The goal is to cover up all the pins so you don't see them. After you get these 2 pins in, then you're ready to get started. So what I do is have the base facing me, and then I'm going to be working my way up towards the top. So you start by placing your first square on the seam between 2 of the starter squares. And so you put a pin at the left and the right side, but then you leave the bottom of it hanging. And you're going to do that with all of the squares from now on. So then you go on the seam and place your next square. And again, pin on the left, pin on the right. And then the next seam. You place another one, and you just keep going around like that. So you'll have 4 squares covering the 4 seams that you originally created. So that's the 4th one. And that's half of your first row, and you'll see what I mean as you get going. The next one, you go and you cover up the 2 squares. You cover up that gap. And you're going to again put your pin in the left and the right side. So you're going to skip and cover the gap. And eventually you're going to have rows going up to the top of your pine cone. And then that's another one. So you should have 8 peaks or points after you get done with your first round. You cover up that gap. And then you'll be ready for your next row. So you should have single peaks all the way around. So now you're going to go and cover up the gaps, so you'll be on your second row. So you'll have 2, and you'll see me counting as I go up just to make sure that I'm even with the count. So right now we're doing row 2. So you basically go around twice to make a row, okay, because you're going every other, you're filling the gap for your second row. So we'll get the second row completed, and then I'm going to speed everything up and you can watch me work, and I'll put some music on and we'll go fast forward. Because you keep doing this until you reach about 3/4, about 6 rows up, 6 or 7-ish. And then we'll slow down and I'll show you how to attach your ribbon. Okay, so I'm counting here, and there should be 2 peaks all the way around after you get to that point. Okay, now I'm going to speed everything up for you. Okay, so now we're ready to attach our ribbon, and you just pin it down on one side, one end of it, until you get to the top, and then I just take the other end of it, have a giant loop, and pin that side. And you can use 2 or 3 pins until you get to the top. And then you're going to continue adding your squares, and you pretty much pretend like the ribbon isn't there. You just cover it up and pin over it and keep going around. So I'll let you watch until I've covered up all of the styrofoam and I've filled everything in. And then I'll come back and we'll finish it up. Okay, after you get your last square put in, make sure all of the styrofoam is covered, and do your best to cover up or not have that many pins showing. Then I'm just gonna cut this ribbon and tie a bow at the top. And your pine cone is all finished. I'll make a list below of all the supplies that you'll need to make your pine cones. And I appreciate you watching. Thanks for spending some time with me today. If there are any projects you'd like to see me do, please leave a comment. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.